Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Jonathan once again for another live 12 at 12. Remarkably, I'm starting about a minute early. And I thought I would do so just to give a few quick reminders in case you're watching this later. Um, you can find me posting on Jonathan Ellerby, PhD, right here every day, live about 12 minutes at 12 o'clock. And then on Sunday, I am on the Althea Center Denver page, and we do a 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time USA gathering for an hour. And there's meditation and prayer and a message. And this coming Sunday, if you're watching this chronologically on April 8th, this Sunday is Easter, and we have a phenomenal, powerful, interesting, provocative, helpful message about the life and teachings of Jesus. So check it out. We also do on Althea Center Denver a Thursday class or group. It's at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and everyone's welcome. It's free. Donations, of course, are encouraged, but it's a little more interactive and sort of a conversation and discussion. But it is time to dig into 12 at 12 here today. If you want to learn more about who I am or what I'm doing, you can always go to jonathanellerby.com or check out my Facebook posts or my videos, all that junk. All right, what we've been exploring this week is the topic of death, loss, and letting go. For millions of people in the world right now, the pandemic and stay-at-home orders has become really more of an inconvenience and a family struggle around time and boredom and if anything, financial well-being. But for another group of millions and millions of people in the world, this has been a very real time of sickness, of loss, and in some cases, massive deaths in communities and families, something that's extremely difficult to relate to if you've never faced that yourself. Nevertheless, at some level, we are all going through this together. At some level, we are all facing death and loss, our mortality, and the fragile nature of life. So this whole week, we're going to continue to explore themes and perspectives that are going to help us with this. And today, in particular, we're going to be talking about the nature of the soul. So with that, I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath. Let's just kind of settle in for a moment, and I have a poem to read for you by the great Kabir, a Sufi Hindu mystic from around the 13th century, who writes beautifully and right to the heart of the very vision of life that we are exploring and sharing here together. So, big, deep, refreshing kind of breath in and out right now. Let your eyes close, and then just give yourself a few moments to settle into stillness. Let the muscles in your face relax, tension in your shoulders release, soften your body, straighten your posture. Extend the exhale. Really focus on your exhale. Really extend. Releasing, releasing, releasing. And then just glimpsing, noticing, listening in for the stillness and the silence that we each carry. And holding that stillness, staying with your breath. Let's feel the words from this timeless master. Dear Swan, tell me your old story. What country have you come from, Swan? What shores are you flying to? Where do you rest at night? And what are you looking for? It's dawn, Swan. Wake up. Soar the air. Follow me. There is a land not governed by sadness and doubt, where the fear of death is unknown. Spring forests bloom there, and the wind is sweet with the flower, God is myself. The bee of the heart dives into it and wants no other joy. So good. So yesterday we were talking about, so you can go back into the library if you want to know what yesterday was, but I'm going to recap one principle in particular, which is that, of course, everyone's experience of death is different, and everyone's story of death is different. We have different cultures, we have different paradigms, but even within them, we each have our own personal beliefs, feelings, experiences. For those of us that are on the path of awakening to the Spirit in all life, we come to realize that there are many dimensions to who we are, and that the self, as Kabir was talking about, the swan, who we think we are, is just a passing vehicle. It's a vehicle for something that we might think of as the essential self, the true self, or the soul. But the soul and its nature is something that many of us have heard about, but most of our religious traditions talk around and take control over for us. Do this and we'll look after your soul. Do that and your soul's in trouble. But understanding the soul is a much more personal and intimate process. It's about understanding that whatever picture of the soul you have, we are fundamentally more than our life experience. We are fundamentally more than what we have or what's been done to us. There is a consciousness, an energy, a kind of intelligence with design that is uniquely you. And one of the core principles that you can spend your life understanding that is healing and empowering in every situation is the notion, or in my perspective, the reality, that the soul has two primary functions: to learn and to teach, to evolve and to help the evolution of others, right? So it's two things: to learn and to teach. And that means that we are entwined with every other soul, for as they commit to their process of learning, the way that looks and how it happens becomes our learning. Therefore, everyone and everything is our teacher, and every moment is our lesson. The trick in our human experience is that we often flip it around through the lens of the conditional self, the ego. We want to be in charge of what we're here to teach. We want to stay committed to what we think others should learn, how we think the world should be, how people should live, and yes, how people should die and when and why. We feel like we should be in charge of whether dying young is normal or not, whether dying of sickness is fair or not. But these are things that are beyond our control, that have always been beyond our control, and frankly, have always been the nature of life. The nature of life is such that life itself is the classroom of the soul, that the human experience is a vehicle, a single vehicle for the soul that we get in and out of according to the soul's evolution, which means some very important things for those of us that are uncertain of how we will face or embrace death and dying. The first, to remember that there is no such thing as a failed or unfulfilled life, because the only or the driving purpose of a life is learning. Then when the learning of this particular life and this particular vehicle is complete, we can leave the vehicle. But the driver, the soul, remains intact. So we must not let the ravages, the tragedies, the suddenness, the earliness of anybody's passing become an internal issue of control or judgment. It is not for us to say. And to dignify their life, we must focus on what we can learn from it, not what we think should have been. It doesn't mean it's not sad. It doesn't mean it's not painful. All those things are real and true, but those are your things. Those are your feelings. Feel them to heal them, and expand your heart and mind to learn from every single moment, even the passing of those we love. In this vision or understanding of the soul, what we come to realize is that in fact we are never alone and we are never separate. The learning and the teaching is always interdependent. In fact, we might even consider that those we struggle with most, those situations, those people, and yes, those tragic or unexpected deaths, those are our most powerful teachers. And let us not diminish the life that has passed by missing the lessons they have given us. What this also brings up for us is the awareness and the practice of affirming that in this consciousness of learning, we must see everyone else as complete as they are. We must see everyone else as complete as they are. Now, they may say they're a work in progress. They may realize they have a lot of learning and growing and healing to do. But for us to project our idea of where someone should be, how someone should be, is not only craziness because we have no ultimate control over others, but it is diminishing and draining to our own well-being. So the only thing we can do, even if what we feel is a commitment to change and changing something else, is ironically to begin by accepting it absolutely and totally as it is. Then moving into the lessons that it brings into our lives, and then from a place of surrender and listening, follow the guidance that arises. What are we to do with this? What is our choice, our relationship? And if it has an impact or an impact that we hope for or long for, great. And if it doesn't, it's fine. Because the future of the soul, the future of the planet, is not locked up in the little details of these moments. Who seems right, who seems wrong, whether things are as we'd like them or not. We are moving into a consciousness that is no longer me. We are moving into a consciousness that is we. And that consciousness of the soul transcends life itself, transcends the human life itself. And so the duration of the life, the manner in which it ends, is only for the evolution of the souls remaining in their lives. But the one that is departed is free. The one that is departed is at peace. And we are serving each other together through our interdependence and for the good, the healing, the evolution of all. But you must make the choice. You must make the commitment that you will learn and let go and learn and let go again and again and again. And this is when love naturally follows. We find our place in the universe. We realize that anything we go through will pass with time, and that the true nature of who we are is ultimately free. Nothing can take it away. No quarantine, no illness, no death. The awareness that is the center of your being will endure, and it will endure in its beauty, how it has been and where it will go. So, there's a lot more here, but we're at the end of our time. Tomorrow, let's pick up from this point and dive into the topic of mystery, because death invites a deep relationship with mystery, why things are the way they are, where people go after they pass, why do good things happen to bad people and bad things to good people, all that stuff. There is so much struggle in the mind when we try to make sense of or control another person's life or its influence on ourselves. Instead, today, what we're focusing on is the awareness that the soul endures, that the soul is here to learn, that we are never alone, and that as we move into that consciousness of the collective, of learning, of loving and letting go, there will be beauty, there will be goodness, and there will be wholeness in every day, in every moment, no matter what comes or goes or is taken. So thank you, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.